You're on, okay. Hello guys, good morning to everyone here at Yad Lisbon and everyone home live on YouTube. We are back for season 3 of these Tuesday sessions, the morning sessions. This time we have new season, new title, and this time it is for me the honor to start and present digital overcomes analogical workflow in prosthodontics in general, and especially over teeth. So we will have 7 minutes to convince. This is the new season at Yad Lisbon every Tuesday. Don't forget, just subscribe our channel, our YouTube channel, Academy Yad. We are putting as much content as we can. So each member of the team is presenting a topic and has 7 minutes to convince you guys home and everyone here that one option is better than the other. So as I have 7 minutes, I divided this in 7 different topics that are very important for prosthodontics when it comes to a work and a treatment that has to be done. The 7 points to compare start with management of patient data and finishes with result and maintenance. Of course, nowadays it is mandatory that not only we properly diagnose and choose a treatment plan that fits better the patient, but of course we have more and more patients that are looking for predictability, how much warranty we give, and people want to play safe, feel safe, and want really to have a good response, a good answer to their requests and expectations. So when it comes to the first point, which is the patient data, when we go back to the analogical models, we have big problems here that for many years we didn't even think about it. The first one is these are physical models. Okay, so we need to have space to stock them. Thank you. Stock them, and of course we need to save them for X years, like 5 years is what's mandatory in Portugal, and this is an issue that also comes with the use of gypsum that gets wear down, changes throughout time if it's not well stocked. So what you have as a first model, maybe in 2 years, is not the same because some difference have occurred. So you cannot work with the same model. If you want to go back to that patient data, you have to go back to the patient and go back to do the modeling and the impression of the patient. Also, this is very difficult for the management of the information because with digital, not only you have everything in the computer, and you have the models, and you have the designs, and you have everything, and you can communicate with the team and the laboratory team, as of course with this physical structure, you need to send the model to someone that through that transportation can also be changed and deviated. The second aspect is related to the diagnosis. When it comes to the diagnosis, I think it is of clear acceptance that digital overcomes analogical. For us, in our team, as we are 100% digital driven, maybe it is very straightforward, but let me explain why. When you look at a patient's mouth and you have an intraoral diagnosis and evaluation, you are looking at the situation of what you can see. not the areas that you cannot see. Whereas if you do an intraoral scanning, not only you can take a look at the areas that are clear to your eye, but of course to many other areas that are not visible. And this, as for instance, when you turn the model around and you check the contacts, and of course the diagnosis is better. And it just links to the third step, which is the planning. When you have a digital scanning, you immediately, as for the step 2, you immediately forward the information in 2 seconds to laboratory that will receive the file and will start immediately working on it. This doesn't happen if you have an analogical work. This is impossible. It's a physical object that has to be poured down, and then there's a model, and then after the model, if there's any change, the laboratory will have some difficulty talking with the prosthodontist. Here, it's an immediate non-change file and situation of the patient. And when you design, as you see here, a design for a walks-up, this is a digital walks-up that is designed for a good planning of 4 veneers and a mock-up. What happens, in fact, is I receive a file and I address the file and I accept the planning. Or, I don't like the planning, please change the planning. Which a lot of colleagues might say, well, you can also do in analog. Okay, yes, you can, but it's not your duty to change the waxing. It is not. It is the laboratory and the technician to change that waxing, to redesign, to change the transition lines. Here, you can point out with some physical images, with some digital images, sorry, where you want more volume, less volume, if you want to expand the plane surface. So there's a lot in the planning that, of course, overcomes any analogical work, so to say. The fourth point is, what you plan is what you get. And this is also undeniable. Of course, this is something that still has a difficulty in totally overcoming analogical, because people might say, well, if I walks and I have a mock-up, of course, I can also have a good result with analogical. Yes, but on the previous step, the change that you are doing is a change of a better communication and the action of yourself as a prosthodontist in the decision of the change of the lab technician. And this is absolutely different. And of course, the reproducibility of what you are doing is absolutely accurate. The fifth point is the guidance. When you come to the treatment and when you come to conservative and minimally invasive approach and preps, you want to know fully how much volume are you adding on a mock-up. And here, on a transversal cut of that STA image, either in ExoCAD or any other software, you can preview the areas where you will prep more and the areas where you prep less, even if you don't have a silicone index, even if you don't have any other tool that will guide you through, okay? So this is how much the digital and playing around with a file can lead you to a good treatment and a good guidance. Of course, we know that from the implantology and how much implantology has grown and evolved with digital. Okay? The sixth point is the lab work. And of course, in the lab work, you see, the lab technician will look at the silicone and say, oh, beautiful, no bubbles, absolutely perfect, etc., etc. Okay. The issue is exactly that. You pour a model one time, maybe the second time, some dimensional changes have occurred. So you don't have reproducibility of what you're doing. For instance, in the lab work, if you have a treatment that has been done if one breaks, you just go and fabricate a new one that exactly a copy of what you've done. If you go for analogical lab work, you will not be doing that because you cannot reproduce exactly the same design that you did. So this, for instance, when you have a traumatic patient, as we did welcome the other day, a patient that we did a veneer and had a car accident and broke the veneer. In 2 days, we had the veneer in our clinic to be replaced immediately with no change. And this is a very important asset of the lab work. And as you can see here, all the reproduction of the waxing can be duplicated for the definitive work, and through this, for a patient that wants predictability, what you get is what you want. So there's no deviation on the design, on the craftsmanship of the dental technician. And this for us, especially for patients that we welcome here, is really, really mandatory and really, really important. Because for many, many years, we have had this problem. We try in ceramic and say, the ceramic's not nice, go back to the laboratory. And then we try in again, it's not nice, then go back to the laboratory. Here, what you try is what you get at the end. And this is very, very important. As you can see, there's a reproducibility of the design and the final work, okay? And the seventh point to finish this 7 minutes to convince is, for many years and still today, prosthodontics use occlusal paper to check occlusion, okay? And this is very user dependent. So if the prosthodontist has a lot of experience, he can manage the occlusal contacts and can manage the final result and the occlusal balance better than the one that is just coming from out of the university. Now, the newly graduates have the power with the correct tools and the digital tools to properly assess if there's a stronger contact in a tooth that eventually in the analogical world it's not possible to assess. So this just comes with the predictability, comes with the final result, and also comes with how much we want the maintenance to be kept and controlled throughout time. Because with digital we can also compare the STLs throughout the years and compare if the load is different throughout the years. So with all of these points, did I convince you?
Yes, yes!
Ah!
Yes.
So move to digital and you'll be as happy as we are. Bye-bye! Yes. Yes.